Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and what do you know, it's time for another update video. Uh, Not the biggest update video ever or anything like that, but there's some things that I have in the collection that I just forgot about that I have not showed you yet, so yeah, that's how it goes sometimes, but yeah, let's begin with the update video. And I'm gonna start this update video with the box sets, and I'm gonna continue with the DVDs, like the non-horror titles, and then I'm gonna end it with the horror titles. And I think there's only one Blu-ray that I picked up, so yeah, there you go. But anyway, let's begin with the box sets. First up, we have the Dead Zone complete, what's it called, complete series collection. For some reason, it's really dark in here. Not really sure why, but yeah, here we go. The Dead Zone, the series, complete series. Never seen this one before, like this series, but I have seen the film from 1982-83, which I'm a very big fan of. And this apparently has Anthony Michael. What's his name? Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah, of course. So yeah, there you go. And then we have, I think I already had the first two films in this series, and I had no idea they made so many of these. And I thought, well, it was a good price, and it's a whole lot of movies. Somebody tells me the later movies are probably going to be questionably bad, maybe. I'm not really sure, but Beethoven's complete collection, complete doggone collection, which includes all of the 8 films. I've only seen the first one. I thought the first one was quite interesting and quite charming to a certain degree. Heard some good things about the second one as well. The rest I've heard really bad things about, but then again, it's like a complete series, and it's like it was quite cheap, so I thought, well, why not? And then we have a let's see here, I almost failed there. An anime series or whatever called Kino's Journey. Never seen this one before, but looks quite interesting. Just based on this cover, it looks like it's quite action-packed, but I heard from somewhere that you should not expect a full action-packed type of series. This is more of a drama thing, I believe, so. But anyway, heard good things about it, though, so yeah, Kino's Journey. And then we have a box set with, what's it called? Neon. Okay, for some reason it doesn't even say on the front cover. There we have it, Neon Genesis Evangelion, which has 3 DVDs in it. So I'm not really sure if this is the full complete collection, maybe missing out on maybe 2 or 3 of those, so maybe I'm going to try to seek those ones out as well if I'm a big fan of this. So yeah, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Never seen, but heard good things about, so yeah. Yeah, and then we continue. Now the next couple of box sets are actually like box sets of a TV series that I'm a big fan of. Usually I maybe wouldn't have cared too much for this series in general, but it's sort of like a funny story because when I was hospitalized back in 2011 for my stroke and my bowel disease, you couldn't really do anything else except for watching the TV in your hospital room. And this was like a series that I watched on TV from time to time. And it's quite ironic that this series takes place on a hospital as well. But Scrubs, first season. Of course, you're gonna get the pattern here. Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5. Let's see here. Season 6, Season 7. Let's see here. Season 8. And Season 9, which I would say is definitely the weakest one out of them all, because I think some of the main actors decided not to come back. So, but that series in general, I'm a big fan of. It's maybe, like I said before, it's probably because the whole thing that I was hospitalized and I watched this hospital comedy series. So I thought that was maybe like some reason why I liked it so much. So yeah. Yeah, then we continue with a pretty large stack of DVDs. First up, we have The Cutter, which I think was the last film Chuck Norris appeared in before he decided to retire. Then obviously he decided to return to Expendables 2 in like a cameo role, but this is like the last real film he appeared in. Never seen this film before, but it's Chuck Norris, so I just had to pick it up. And I think that film is quite rare from time to time, and I found it for a really good price, so yeah. Then we have The Ninja Avenger. It says it's directed by some guy called Tommy Lee, but that could be Godfrey Ho for all I know, so I'm not really sure. But This cover art is quite stupid, but still hilarious at the same time, so yeah. Then we have a film which I've been wanted to get a hold of for quite some time, and I finally found it. This is some sort of like women in prison exploitation type film. It looks really entertaining. The Mothers, just based on that cover as well, just amazing in my opinion. A Filipino action women in prison films. I mean, those are really entertaining from time to time. So yeah. Then we have more Filipino action. At least I think one or two of these were made in the Philippines. But these are 3 films: Firecracker, TNT Jackson, and Too Hot to Handle. I think I have TNT Jackson in some other box set or something before, but so the main reason why I would pick up this one was because of the other 2 titles, and especially Firecracker, because I think Firecracker is directed by Sirio Santiago, the Filipino director who made a whole lot of real entertaining action films in the 80s, so yeah. So, speaking of Filipino action films, I think this is another one that takes place in the Philippines, I'm not really sure. This is a very late entry into the women in prison genre, and the only guy who just still decided to make films like that would be Bruno Mattei. Mattei, I'm not really sure, I always butcher his name, but The Jail, the women's Hell, always wanted to see this one, and yeah, it looks really entertaining, so yeah, I had to pick it up. Then we have a film which I didn't even knew had a DVD release, so now I can upgrade my VHS from that to this one. Programmed to Kill with Robert Ginty and Sandal Bergman. Yeah, main reason why I picked up this one was because I already had this on VHS before and I didn't know we had a DVD release, and Robert Ginty is always like a guy that I can just pick up any film from with him and I'm gonna enjoy it probably, so yeah. Then we have a film with Red Brown. Once again, this is another Bruno Mattei film. Strike Commando. So if I like this one, I'm probably gonna pick up the second one as well. Once again with these awesome looking cover arts, you can't really pass on that, so yeah. Then we have a film by Albert Pyun, I can never pronounce his name, rest in peace by the way, I think he passed away not too long ago. But he made some really entertaining 80s films as well, and this one, though I've never seen before, but I thought the storyline sounded quite interesting. Dangerously Close. Yeah, some sort of gang film in the 80s, I couldn't pass on it. Then we have a film which I have seen before, and I think this is a very underrated film. I had no idea this is like it's a Full Moon release, but I'm not sure if Full Moon was even like involved in the making of this film. I'm not really sure. It could be something else, I'm not really sure, but Assault of the Killer Bimbos. Now the title sounds really stupid and really retarded, but this is a very entertaining and funny film. Don't let yourself get fooled by the Full Moon icon on this, because I think this is it doesn't really feel like a Full Moon film, if that makes any sense, but very funny, feel good type of comedy film made in the 80s. Can't pass on it, so yeah, really recommend it. Then we have a film by David A. Pryor, the one and only David A. Pryor, and this is his film from the 90s with Lance Henriksen and Leo Ross in it, and the film is called Felony. I remember I really appreciated this one, in particularly Lance Henriksen's performance in this, so yeah, couldn't pass on that, so yeah, Felony. Then we will continue with yet another David A. Pryor film, which is maybe not as good as Felony, but it's one of those Vietnam War type films. Yeah, Kill Zone. I think this was one of his very first films he directed right after Sledgehammer, I believe. So, but yeah, Kill Zone. It has Fritz Matthews and Ted Pryor in it as well. So yeah, there you go. Once again, great cover art. Now we get to a little bit more mainstream type of films, I believe. This one I've never seen before, but this is directed by Tony Scott. Crimson Tide. I think this is supposed to be like a classic. Never seen it before though, with Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. And then let's see, what is this called in English? The Right Stuff, from the early 80s. Some sort of drama, astronaut, sci-fi film. Sounds interesting. Then we have a late 90s comedy film that I have not seen before. Looks interesting though. Chasing Amy. Yeah, could be good, who knows. Then we have this one. I'm not sure about this particular release because somebody tells me this is a very cheap looking like release of the film. But then again, I think this is a film that you could probably get a hold of in a much better release. But I just wanted to get the film itself before I do anything else, or like upgrade it, or if I feel the need to upgrade it, but I've heard really good things about this one, and the film is M from the early 30s with Peter Lorre, and directed by Fritz Lang. Heard really really good things about this one. I think this is also in the top of the IMDb's like top 250 films or whatever, but so couldn't pass on that. Then we have let's see what this is called, Kramer versus Kramer. 70s, I believe, late 70s, early 80s drama film. It looks like a really, really nice, feel-good type of film, so I decided to pick it up, so yeah. Now this one I've already showed you before, so there's no reason for me to show you that again. Then we have a film with Jeff Bridges and Robin Williams, The Fisher King, from the 90s, I believe. This has to be early 90s, yeah, 91, so yeah. Then we have this one. Now this cover art is once again with some of these old school cover arts. I can't pass on some of those titles. This is from the 60s and this is called A Fantastic Voyage. So yeah, just take a look at that. It looks really amazing. Which I think this one has Donald Pleasence in it as well, so that could be interesting. And then we have this is a film directed by Ed Wood. For those of you who know Ed Wood, he's known for being like one of the worst directors of all time and whatnot, but this is his film called Glenn or Glenda. Heard really, really bad things about this one, but I'm like, oh, I'm a sucker for some of those really bad films, so had to pick it up. Then we have a film with Steve Martin called Mixed Nuts. Some sort of Christmas type film that takes place during Christmas or winter. So this is definitely a film that I'm going to try to check out during the winter time or Christmas this year. Looks really hilarious though. So, and Steve Martin is always Steve Martin, so had to pick it up. Then we have an action film from the 90s with Billy Zane and Robert Downey Jr. among others. The film is called Danger Zone. Some low budget action film, I believe. So looks really entertaining though. So had to pick it up. Then we have a film which this is yet another film with Robert Downey Jr. and this is also has Anthony Michael Hall in it, and Anthony Michael Hall is apparently also the director of this film. I think this was the only film he ever directed. This is his film called Hail Caesar. Heard some really terrible things about this one, but sometimes, I mean, you can't really trust all of the other people all the time. You need to decide for yourself if you like a film or not, so yeah. Then we have a film called Pool Girl. I think this is known as something else as well. If you type it in on IMDb or Letterboxd, it's probably going to pop up in another title. But let's see if the other title is mentioned down here. I don't think so, but yeah. Looks interesting. It's a late 90s comedy film, I believe, or drama film, so yeah. Now the next one I am a big fan of. I'm so glad that I finally got this in the collection. This is the first film that Corey Haim ever appeared in. And this is the film called Firstborn, which also has Peter Weller and Christopher Collett in it. Christopher Collett I only recognize because of Sleepaway Camp, his appearance in that. Was it Christopher Collett? Is that the same guy? Yeah, I think it is, sorry. But anyway, this is a really great drama film. Kind of depressing to a certain degree as well, but it's very tense and very... Yeah, great performances by all the actors in this one. So if you like 80s drama films, go check that one out. So yeah. Then we have a film with and by Klaus Kinski. And this film is called Paganini. And apparently portrays a real musician that was alive in the... when was he alive? Was it like in the 1600s or 1700s? I'm not really sure, but he portrays like a musician. And I think this is one of the very last films he ever appeared in or that he ever directed or whatever. So yeah, Paganini, never seen before, but looks interesting. And then we have a film called Higher Learning. Once again, another like 90s drama film, I believe. Could be early 2000s, I'm not really sure. My guess would be 90s, so yeah, there you go. Then we have a film which is based off of a video game that I have never played before. But some of those films are quite hilarious when they try to like make films out of like a video game. Usually it doesn't really end very well, but this looks quite interesting. Tekken, never played the game like I said before, but looks really hilarious, so I had to pick it up. Then we have a film called Hell's Kitchen. Not anything with Gordon Ramsay. This is a film called Hell's Kitchen from the 90s with Angelina Jolie. Think this is another one of those action drama thriller films. Never seen before, but looks interesting. Then we have a Japanese horror film from the 60s, I believe. The film is called Matanago. Butcher the title probably. My Japanese isn't really that good. Attack of the Mushroom People. I didn't even see that. It said it was down there, but yeah, could be interesting. Then we have more Japanese stuff. This is an animated film from the early 2000s. I think this is directed by the same guy who directed Akira. And this film is called Steam Boy. Yeah, early 2000s. And then, let's see here, the next two are actually films with... let's see here, which one came out first? I think, yeah, this one came out first. Two films with Bud Spencer. First off, we have Flatfoot in Africa. And of course, I also had to pick up Flatfoot in Egypt. So yeah, there you go. So now we're gonna continue this update with the horror titles. First up, I picked up two Giallo films. First up, we have The Case of the Bloody Iris with Edwidge Fenech. Sorry, butcher name probably. Heard really good things about this one, and I think this is considered as one of the better Giallo films out there. So yeah, Case of the Bloody Iris. Then we have Short Night of Glass Dolls. Yet another really cool looking cover art from the early 70s, I believe. I can be so wrong about that, but yeah, looks really interesting. So yeah, had to pick it up. Then we have, let's see, I have to censor this because otherwise I'll probably be flagged, but Nude for Satan. Some sort of sleaze fest from the 70s, not really sure. Early 70s, so I'm not even sure if this is like, it just says it's an exploitation film, so who knows. Looks interesting though. Then we have Creature from the Black Lake, which I have seen before. It's a really stupid but yet hilarious film. It seems like they had some problem when they were making this film, that they like stopped the project and then they continued it like years later or something, but because it's some scenes that just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it's quite an entertaining film nonetheless. Then we have a film with Asia Argento, Love Bites, from the early 2000s, I believe. 2001 or 2002, I'm not really sure, but yeah. Then we have a film, this is some sort of anthology film from I think this came out in 2015. And the film is called Scare Waves, anthology film, horror film. Really cool looking cover art, so yeah, I just had to pick it up. And then we have a film which I've been wanting to see for quite some time. Not seen it yet though, but I mean, once again, the cover art and the storyline and the way it was made and like was like a shot on video film looks very interesting. The Bloody Ape. Yeah, look at that. That is amazing. So then we have, I've actually seen the sequel to this. I'm not even sure if it's a sequel, if it's just like a reimagining or something, but Mark of the Astro Zombies that I watched. This is the predecessor to that film that came out much earlier. Astro Zombies by the same director, Ted V. Michaels or Mikkels. So yeah, had to pick it up. Now then we have two snapcase releases, or like snapcases, yeah. The Black Scorpion, some creature feature from the 50s. Just look at that on the back right there. It looks really interesting. So yeah. And then we have a film from 1960 actually, to be fair, the exact year. Dinosaurs. Had to pick it up. Maybe not really straightforward horror films, but I thought, well, there's still some creatures in them probably, so it could be horror. Then we have a film called The Witching. This is also known as Necronomicon. No, not Necronomicon. Necromancy. Sorry, I just butchered the title right here. I have seen this one before. This is directed by the late great Burt I. What's his name? Burt I. Gordon, I believe his name was. Doesn't even say on the front there or anything, but he passed away sadly not too long ago. But he got to be like 100 years old or something. So, but anyway, this I'm probably completely wrong here, but I'm just messing up the words here. But this one is quite interesting. It's an occult type of horror film with Orson Welles in it. So that's, if that sounds interesting to you, go check it out. Then we have Come Home in the Dark, which I've been told is some sort of like American version of Wolf Creek. Not American version, but it's like similar to Wolf Creek. At least that's what I've heard, and that sounds interesting to me, so I had to pick it up. So yeah. Then we have a Canadian horror film, I believe. It actually says USA and Canadian, like co-production, so who knows? But Random Acts of Violence. Yeah, with a title like that, I just had to pick it up. Then we have a horror film from the early 2000s. I think this is a British horror film. Yeah, it is. Long Time Dead. Never seen before, but looks interesting. Then we have yet another anthology film, I believe. Five Senses of Fear. Yeah. Then we have a Spanish horror film, I believe. I'm not sure if this is from Mexico or if it's a Spanish. I'm not really sure which country it is, but it's a Spanish spoken film. And the film is called Deadly Cargo. Yeah. I think this is some sort of like ghost film in general. I'm not really sure, but sometimes those films can be good, but it's just they made so many bad ones in the last like decade or so. Now the next one I picked up was a film called Escape Room. I know there's plenty of films with the same title, but if you want to look up this particular one, this one has Skeet Ulrich in it. So there you go. Escape Room. Then we have some After Dark, what's it called? After Dark original films, which I think came out in like the early 2010s or something. First up we have Prowl. I think I might have had this before. Maybe I gave it away, or maybe I just wasn't a fan of it. I'm not really sure. It was quite a long time ago if I have watched this before. But anyway, Prowl looks interesting nonetheless. Then we have a film which I like the cover art and I like the premise, but I've heard bad things about it. But I thought, well, I'm gonna give this a chance either way. The Task. Yeah, really cool looking cover art. And then the last for the After Dark originals, we have Scream of the Banshee, which has Lance Henriksen in it. So that's another reason why I decided to pick it up. So yeah, a new brand of fear. Then we have, these are actually double packs, like 2 movies on 1 disc, I believe. First up we have Moving Target and The Coroner. Moving Target was the main reason why I picked this one up. I know it's not a horror film or anything, but I just decided to include it in that section of the film, like this update video, because of The Coroner, which actually is a horror film, which I've heard really bad things about, so who knows. Could be bad, could be good, who knows. And then we have another one of those 2 movies on 1 disc. These are not horror films at all, so I'm not really sure why I decided to put this in the same section of the horror films, but these 2 films, Mojave, or Mojave, I'm not really sure how you pronounce it, Mojave Moon and Changing Habits. Yeah, some drama, comedy films from the 90s apparently. So yeah, that's it for all of the DVDs. Now the only Blu-ray I picked up this time around was Slash Dance, which also has Hollywood's New Blood in it. I've seen both of these films before. Slash Dance was quite bad, but Hollywood's New Blood was even worse. But I thought, well, I'm gonna give those another shot, because I know sometimes you need to rewatch a film and then you probably appreciate it much more. I really hope that's the case for both of these, but sometimes it depends on what type of mood you're in when you're watching a film. Like if you're not in a good mood, you're not gonna enjoy the film anyway. So, but anyway, that's it for the this particular update video. Yeah, keep your eyes open for the next video, and yeah, I'm gonna try to prioritize the horror review videos in the near future. So keep your eyes open for the next. So yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.